Hello and welcome. My name is Sean, also known as ChilliChump. I absolutely love chilies. I love growing them. I love making hot sauces. I love coming up with new recipes. I love doing techie and geeky experiments with them as well. And I share all this with you guys on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in any of that, then make sure you subscribe down below. The one thing that I've always wanted to do is grow a monster chili plant. I'm not talking big, I'm talking a monster. And this year, that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. If you've been growing chilies for any length of time, then you're probably aware of who Nigel is. But in case you aren't, Nigel was a monster chili plant grown by Seaspring Seeds back in 2013. This plant reached 8 feet high, 8 feet wide, and produced over 2,400 ripe chili pods. The variety that was grown was the Dorset Naga, and as a homage to Nigel, I'm also going to be growing the Dorset Naga this year to attempt to get a monster as well. Now, of course, I'm competitive and I want to get an even bigger plant and I want to produce more ripe pods. So that's kind of my goal this year. I was very inspired by that video. There's a couple of videos and I will link them down below. And it's just incredible. I'd love to fill up my greenhouse with that plant. So I have got mine started the same time as I've started all these chili plants back in January. And it's June at the moment, so beginning of June. I will give you a bit of a peek at what my plants are looking like, and they actually have got names, so I will show you in a bit. I'm growing in a few different size pots. Now, the one that Seaspring Seeds grew to be that huge, massive plant, that was grown in a 160-litre pot, which happens to be the exact same size pot that I'm going to be growing my biggest one in. I have got 3 other pots here as well. Ultimately, I'm trying to do a bit of an experiment here as well, just to figure out what the best ratio of pot size, compost, that sort of thing, versus yield, the amount of space taken, the amount of yield you get from it with varying pot sizes. Most of my pots are 10 or 12 litre pots, but yeah, 160 litre, that's massive. So there are a few logistics involved and I'll talk through that in just a little while. You can see the plants that are in the 10 and 12 litre pots are doing quite nicely. Some a little bit smaller than others, but the weather hasn't been fantastic. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of progress very soon. As soon as the sunshine kicks in for a few weeks, we're going to be seeing those double in size. Now, the first of the giant plants is down here. This is in a 30-litre pot. That plant right there is looking very healthy. It is pretty large already, and that's the smallest of the big pots that I'm using. Next to that is actually the second biggest pot. This one here is a 90-litre pot. So 9 times bigger than my average pot size. Next to that is a 50-litre pot. And next to that is the absolute giant pot, which is 160 litres. Now what you might notice, that plant is very healthy and it is nice size already. But the biggest growth I think I'm seeing is down here, the 50-litre pot and the 30-litre pot. And that's kind of to be expected. In the early part of the season, those roots are going to find the edges a bit quicker than they are in this bigger pot over here, that 90-litre, and the very big pot, the 160-litre. And that means that a lot of the focus is going to be on the roots to fill the pots up and grow. Once those roots have developed fully, then these plants are going to accelerate in growth. And that's the big challenge you have when you're living in the UK, is just the length of the season. Do you have enough time for those roots to hit the sides of the pots so that you can focus the growth on the actual plant itself and getting lots of pods? So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see as this progresses throughout the season. I'll be using every trick that I have in my little bag of tricks to try and optimize the growth of these plants. Everything that I've learned over the many years that I've been growing chilies, and we'll see how that pans out at the end of the season. I will be doing a full video showing everything that I've done to achieve whatever potential growth I have with these plants. That'll come at the end of the season. I want to do a all-in-one video from the planting right through to what soil mix I used, the fertilizing, watering schedule, all that sort of thing. I will share that with you. I'll be able to also share a lot of information around the amount of light that they're getting. I'm monitoring all that. I'm monitoring how high the humidity is, how high the temperature is in here. So all that sort of information, I'll be able to give you the stats, and we'll be able to really narrow down on what worked, what didn't, And yeah, that'll come at the end of the year. I don't want to necessarily share that with you now. The reason I'm doing this video, just introing this experiment, is because when I do my garden updates, it's not going to be easy to hide those massive plants. So you will see the progress of them, and I will point them out, and I'll show you how they're doing throughout the season in my garden update videos. But at the end of the season, you'll see a full dedicated video to these plants. Now, just like Seaspring Seeds did, they named their plant. I've also named my two biggest plants. I've named them the 90-litre one, I've named that Frikkie. And then the 160-litre one, I've named that one Koers. So Koers and Frikkie, we're going to keep tabs on them throughout the season, and fingers crossed we're going to have some monsters by the end of it. When Seaspring Seeds did the harvesting of Nigel, they invited over the Clifton Chilli Club guys to give them a hand. And I'll be doing the same thing. I have spoken to them in the past, and they're a great bunch of guys. And I actually live fairly close to where they are now. So, you know, who knows, they might come out and give me help with this. I haven't met them yet, so it'd be great to meet them as well. But besides them, I will actually be inviting over some of my patrons and YouTube members to give me a hand. Anybody that wants to get involved, they don't actually know about this just yet, but anybody that wants to get involved can enter into a draw that I'm going to do, and it'll be just awesome to meet some of them, have them over, we can do some harvesting, they can check out the chili plants, and we can have some beers and a braai or barbecue. I will also, in case you don't want to become a patron or a YouTube member, or you can't afford it, I completely understand, I will be giving away a chance for one of you guys, anybody that's a viewer of my videos, to come out. If you can make it out to the UK where I am, then you can enter to be part of that draw. Now, I'll be doing that draw during a live stream, probably my next live stream, the first Sunday of July. And make sure that you are there for my live stream. And if you want to come and help me out with getting Koers and Frikkie sorted out, then make sure you're on that live stream and we'll do that draw and you might get lucky. Anyway, wish me luck. I am really hoping that I have a fantastic success with my plants over there. Well, actually all my chili plants, but those monsters, I'd absolutely love to fill this greenhouse. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And until then, stay spicy.